Google, Amazon, Discord, Duolingo, a lot of other companies as well have announced layoffs in the last 1 week.
And Google has announced another round of layoffs.
Duolingo confirmed it has offboarded 10% of its contractor workforce.
The two tech giants are reversing the hiring sprees.
Layoffs in technology just keep coming.
Now, across these different companies though, there are some clear patterns emerging where these guys are focusing with respect to layoffs. And I hope you understand the patterns and see whether if there are any kind of issues within the business units that you are working in. And this video, I'm not going to talk about the number of layoffs nor which company, etc. But I would rather focus on the trends which you need to know. So let's get started with the first one. That is Google. Google has announced that it's laying off employees from hardware and services teams. Now this is very interesting because we did notice last year, in fact 2 to 3 months back, that Amazon has also announced layoffs from its Alexa, another hardware division. A lot of these software giants have troubles with their hardware teams because hardware typically has much lesser margins. Hardware is more capital intensive and also hardware is not very easy and quick to build. It takes a lot of time. So these companies, when they realize that their bets are not working in the way they imagined, they are first cutting down their hardware divisions. And of course, Google is focusing on its hardware teams, including Fitbit. Now, if you are in any of these hardware teams within the software companies, then you need to think about if this particular hardware team that you are working in is making profits, if it is in the good books of the overall management versus not. The second key trend that you also should look into is a lot of acquisitions have gone wrong over the past few years. For example, once again, when Google mentioned that they are looking into specifically the hardware, they are not touching the Google Pixel teams. They are primarily touching the Fitbit team. And if you remember, Fitbit was one of their acquisitions from 2021, or they finalized the acquisition in 2021. In the last few years, most of these acquisitions did not go according to the plans. For example, once again, a lot of Byju's acquisitions did not go well. Byju has spent more than $3 billion on acquisitions in 2021 and 2022. And now, the overall valuation of Byju itself is around $1 billion. So you can see how these acquisitions went south. Now, if you are in that situations where either your company was acquired by another company or your company acquired another company, any of these things is tricky. You need to have the business understanding of what is going right, what is going wrong, and see these situations might be giving a red flag for you. It is not just acquisitions per se. There are also situations where companies have started their own initiatives. For example, Amazon in 2023 mid, they mentioned they were cutting down their initiatives across edutech. They cut down their initiative across B2B deliveries. Now, all these new initiatives as well, which did not work according to their expectations because the sentiment is anyways not good right now, they are using these negative market conditions to just cut down those kind of initiatives which did not yield the results. So again, you know what is the red flag. The third pattern that you should notice is with respect to contractual workforce. Duolingo has mentioned that it is cutting down 10% of its contractual workforce. Well, contractual employees are always on the hook because if a company is facing through any kind of financial situations or any kind of financial troubles, they would rather first cut down or lay off their contractual workforce rather than their own employees. So if you are a contractual employee in any big company, then you need to think about how you can make your position permanent or see if you can move into a permanent role. Well, if all the things are okay, it is fine. If not, you need to start thinking. Duolingo in the same scenario has also mentioned one other reason. They said that they are cutting down these roles with the expectation that a lot of content creation and content moderation can be taken over by generative AI. Well, this is true. Generative AI is also taking a lot of jobs. Last 2 weeks back, I did make a video where I talked about how Paytm came up with an announcement and said they are cutting down 1,000+ employees because of the impact of generative AI. A lot of these companies, we don't know if they are using AI as a disguise and doing the layoff just because of the performance reasons, but it is is important for you to understand that some of the roles which are repetitive, they are under threat because of AI. For example, this video I created using artificial intelligence. It is not me speaking. I gave the text to one of the websites and I gave a 2-minute video of mine, a very generic video, and I can create hundreds of videos like these without any kind of issues. Generative AI is really becoming a thing and it has already started impacting jobs in the content world, and Duolingo is exactly doing the same thing. The fourth pattern that you should also recognize is with respect to the underperforming business units. Amazon, when it announced layoff 2 days back, it very clearly mentioned that they are looking forward to discontinue investments in the business units which are not performing very well, and they want to rather focus on the business units which are doing well. This is again a huge red flag. It might not be anything related to your performance, it might not be anything related to what you are doing, your role, your responsibilities, nothing matter in that scenarios. The entire business unit would be replaced. And Discord also is giving the exact same reason. They are saying that we want to be more efficient. Amazon, Twitch, Audible, of course, all of them under the brand of Amazon have done layoffs in the last 2-3 days, and the reasons are also very, very similar. Focusing on profitable business units and cutting down the BUs which are not doing well. It is not just the business units though. Along with the business units, there are also one other portion within these companies which are under huge threat right now. That is the cost centers. And what are typically cost centers? The business functions within the organizations which are not revenue generating. For example, organization functions like HR or research. Whenever there is macro uncertainty and the companies do not know how they are going to perform, and if they want some financial stability on their balance sheets, they typically go ahead and try to cut down their spend on cost centers. And that is the reason why you could notice last year as well, Amazon has cut down a lot of employees from its HR divisions. I hope through this video you understand the red flags. Please take down the notes with respect to what are the red flags that we discussed in this video. Number 1 is if you are contractual employee. Number 2, if your field is going to be impacted by AI. Number 3, if you are working in a non-performing business unit. Number 4, if your company went through an acquisition recently. And number 5, if you are working in the hardware teams within these big software giants and these hardware teams are not performing very well. If any of these red flags are true for you, you need to be a little careful. Otherwise, all is well at your end. Thank you so much, guys. Please do share this video in your network so that folks who have these red flags are a little more careful right from the start. See you again in the next one. Bye bye.